Okay, hello. My name is David Roberts. A little bit about myself. I'm an American, but I've been living in Taiwan for over 20 years, so I'm pretty much definition of an expat. I have a background in art education, but here in Taiwan I teach English. Sometimes I use art in my classroom to do things. Certainly if you have a whiteboard and you're not really allowed to speak Chinese in class, you can draw a picture of something, so that comes in really handy. Make my own flashcards and stuff like that, but really doing real painting, I pretty much just do it for myself. I was on the internet and I was on Facebook, and my friend Jay Mack, he does these goes around the countryside here in Taiwan, and he does these wonderful photographs of the countryside, and he did this one. So what I've done is I've taken the image down, I've put it on my computer, went down to 7-Eleven and did a nice color printout of it, just screaming to be painted. Here's the canvas I'll be using, and let me see here, I can do that, that'll work. I'm going to use acrylic paintings. I don't use oil paintings. Oil paintings are really wonderful because you can blend them. They stay wet for a very long time because oil paintings chemically dry, whereas acrylic paintings they dry through the air. You start with your primary colors. Primary colors are colors that cannot be mixed with any other color to get that color. They are, I usually draw a triangle, they are yellow, blue, you cannot mix anything to get blue, you cannot mix anything to get yellow, and the last one is red. And then if you do this like a Star of David, yellow and red make orange, blue and yellow make green, and red and blue and red make violet or purple. Okay, and then these colors that are opposite to each other are contrast colors. Contrast. Okay, so an orange and a blue should make a gray or a brown. A green and a red, yeah, they should make kind of a muddy brown. Depends exactly what you're using. Yellow and violet should make a gray or a brown. And of course, if you mixed all these colors together, it'll make a very deep black. So do I use whites in my paintings? Yes, I do. I use staple that I use is titanium white. Titanium white is a very opaque white. Mix it in. You don't need too much of it, and I try to avoid just using any kind of whites or blacks in my paintings. Try to use more blues if I want to use blacks. Processed black's okay, and we're just trying to dull down a color, but you shouldn't get overly dependent on whites and blacks. So if you're going to the store, yes, you can mix the other colors by just buying yellow, blue, and red, but you're gonna end up using lots of paint, and you got to just to get that just right color. If you're doing something like getting an olive green, you get an olive green, it's a really nice green, but what you do with green is you got to know, it's like, okay, so I'm mixing my blue and yellow together, then I've got this really bright green, and then what I do is I take a little bit of red, put it into that green, and then it gives me, and then it just offsets the color. It dulls the color, but it gives this really beautiful, more natural color. So something that my professor told me in college was, you don't use, unless you're doing something, I don't know, like a Piet Mondrian or something like that, if you're making something from nature, you don't see that blue in nature. You don't see that cobalt blue. These are actually really two staples I'll use. Cobalt blue and permanent orange. I don't know why, they just make a nice, first I'll make sort of a muddy color, but then when you put in a little drop of titanium white, they make this really nice, almost like a concrete, like a gray you see on a concrete. And depending on how much you mix the two, you can get lots of grays and light grays and really, you just put a drop of orange in with blue, put in a lot of white, and get a nice color for the sky. Yeah, you have to spend a little bit more money on the reds. So you try and buy the paints that you want to use. So for example, blues, I've got a cerulean blue over here. There's even a lighter blue that I use, and this one doesn't say, but yeah, this is a phthalo blue, and this is a really nice color. So give you some deeper blues when you mix it with other colors. Now, this one is 74 NT. That's like $2.50. This one is also $2.50, but depends on the brand. This one's 155, so that's 155 NT. That's about $4-5. It's a $5 tube of paint, and depending on the color and the brand. Reds, you know, you can't skimp on reds. So this is I'm gonna mispronounce it. Naphthol red medium. Okay, naphthol. That's probably the like cobalt blue. That's probably the mineral in there that gives you the red color. And this one is 212 NT. So this one's well over a $6 tube of paint. But so for certain colors you have to pay more money. Alright, so what I do is I use a glass palette, and for acrylics it's great. You just buy one of these razor blades you might use to scrape stuff, like scrape paint off, and for glass this is really awesome. You can just scrape off the last bunch of stuff that you did from time before. I used to use paper plates. Now I use this. I've been using this since college. That's actually some of my professors taught me. I actually went out and bought one of these a few years ago to try it out, and it's a wooden palette. I guess it's all nice and all to paint with, but unfortunately it doesn't scrape off. I'm probably liable to just end up nicking my thumb over here as I'm trying to scrape this off. And this would, I could use this, it would pile up. This is ideal for maybe oil paints, and then you chemically wash them off with maybe an oil thinner. So that's a good thing with acrylics, is that you don't have to deal with all those paint thinners and things like linseed oil and the such. I live in an apartment. The smells would probably get a little overwhelming. It's not bad smells, but your whole living room, your apartment starts to smell like an art studio after about 2 days. This was given to me by a friend of mine years ago. Canadian friend named Naga, on my birthday, I believe. And I don't do as much outdoor stuff as I used to, but what I did was this: I went to a glass maker and had this made. There used to be a wooden palette that went in here. I took that out, and so made this to fit in. There's a little hook here, so to keep it in. And when I go out, I'll make sure everything here is super organized. I'm looking for another olive green. That's good. And I know I'm not a very organized person, but when I go out, I do try and stay very organized. And I have a little tripod, portable tripod, and from time to time I'll go out and paint something outside that I just cut the top off of. And I've been using this thing for years. Got a couple of these kicking around here. And when I dispose of the water, it goes down the toilet. Never put it into the sink and flush it immediately. Acrylics will gunk up your plumbing faster than I don't know what. Don't ever pour acrylic water down the sink, and if you have to, then at least run it with some running water for about 15 minutes. It's best to just go right into the toilet, or if you have, like I said, it's liquid plastic. Okay, so let's get started on this. It's probably going to take me a few days. Let's get started. It's wrong. Oh, I know. Oh yeah, that's art.